Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Today we have another TCR and we're here with Danny in Indiana, specifically Anderson, right?
Yes,
Anderson, downtown
yeah.
Anderson, a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, my name is Danny. I have a 2000 Acura Integra Type R. I got the car about probably 5 years ago as a rolling shell. I thought it was just a great platform to build on.
What were your goals for the car when you first purchased it, and has it changed from like then since now?
Yes, it's actually changed a lot. I actually was, I went to a lot of car meets and stuff, so did shows, meets, and this and that, and didn't really expect to build a track car or even go to the track. So the plans have changed quite a bit from when I got the car.
So it started off as kind of a weekend slash show car, and then you somehow in the mix there you got the track bug.
Yeah. So I mean, one of my good friends, Brad Adams, actually, he raced Honda Challenge for a long time, kept pushing and pushing for me to do event. So I was like, after we got the car together running, you know, at first, I just went out and just did an event and then kind of fell in love with it.
I guess this is kind of an interesting question then, and the question is, how long did the build take you? So let's say from when you decided you wanted to turn it into a track car till its current condition now, how long did that take you?
Well, actually, it started from shell to like I got it from shell to a running car. It took about a year or 2 years or so, something like that.
Okay.
And then I did a couple events, meets and shows and whatnot. And then just like that, like how I put it together to cruise around, went straight to did a track day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't convert anything. We just
Got it.
changed the brakes and did some fluid and just went to a track day and just had some fun.
Interesting. So it's not even like you built it specifically for the track, like you just took what you had pretty much.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was built for the track already, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Somewhat semi. No, it was more subtle than this was. It was, you know, stock. Everything was basically stock.
Okay.
Just JDM front end and, you know, just lowered on some wheels and that's it.
Did the build take longer than you anticipated?
I mean, yes and no. It's always, I guess, progressing through time, you know. So I guess it wasn't really everything was done at once. You know, I did a lot of things in stages, and as I grew as a driver and you know, as I moved on.
So let's talk about the exterior of the car and what you have out here. Looks like you got lots of aero pieces, lots of aftermarket pieces. So we'll go over that.
Yeah. So I have, I guess, first we had the JDM front end already. So I actually found these fenders from JDM Ohio. They're stage 21. I think they're about 15 mil wider. You don't see them on a lot of Hondas. You see them on 240s. Okay. More than anything. So it's kind of like a funky, different piece, I guess.
That is kind of weird. So they just kind of like decided they wanted to do some Honda parts.
I guess, yeah. And I didn't even know much about it until I saw them, and I was like, oh, it's a little different. So I'll go ahead and go with those. So I got that from them. And then I got end up with the J's Racing front lip, which is basically the same as the first molding. One of my good friends from California had this J's Racing Type T hood, and I was like, oh man, it would go with the lip, you know, the lip and actually the J's Racing canards also. Talked to him, he ended up wanting to get rid of it, but he actually just gave it to me. He was just
nice.
he was like, honestly, if you're gonna use it, you could just have it. So I ended up getting that from California, and of course did PCI side skirts, and then a J style wing and Verus end plates on those. Yeah. APR mirrors, and just a homemade custom splitter with some PCI mounts.
Got it. What did you make the splitter out of?
Birch wood.
Birch wood? Mm-hmm. Nice and cheap.
Yeah, easy. I mean, if something happens to it, it's cheap to replace.
Right.
Kind of, because wood's expensive now.
Yeah, the market's gone up on it now.
About double the price now.
And that's just the thing about like track cars, is that it's having like genuine parts is kind of scary.
It is very scary, yeah.
The probability of it getting damaged is pretty high. So
yeah.
When it comes to like splitters and things like that, like just make it out of wood.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the biggest fear is destroying the front lip also with the splitter.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's because that's a genuine lip, right?
It's a real lip. Yeah, so it's just one of those things. I mean, it's kind of the risk you take, you know, when you're out there. A couple OEM goodies like the window visors, little JDM stuff that I enjoy and like. One cool thing I really like is, if you come check this out, is the JDM Integra third brake light actually says Integra. You don't see that a lot
I actually saw that just earlier too.
Yeah. And then what else is there? J's Racing tow hooks, miscellaneous random JDM stuff that I collected through the years.
Cool. Little subtle touches of little Danny touches there.
Yeah, I guess. So these are just Volk SE37s. I actually use these just for the street to cruise around with Zenny's 615s. When I'm on the track, right now I'm using SSR Type Cs, 17 by 8.5, with a 245 tire up front and 225 rear. Falken RT660s. And for braking, I actually was using spoon calipers for a long time with Pat's Hog DTC 70s.
Okay.
I recently switched over to these Stoptechs. So I got a really good deal on them. Couldn't pass up the deal because Stoptech actually had them on back order for a long time. So I got them, slapped them on, haven't tracked with them yet. They came with some WinMax pads, but I plan on replacing those back to the Hawk DTCs just because I like them so much.
So you said these are the SC37Ks are just your like your street wheels.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is pretty damn cool because it's like I feel like the SC37K is like the black sheep of the Volk family.
It is,
you know?
yeah,
But then
it is.
I love the wheel so much.
Yeah,
It's a good wheel.
I wasn't really a big fan of them at first, and then I found them in 17s for a good deal. They're not in the greatest condition, but again, I just drive around on them. So instead of beating up the track wheels and track tires on the street, so yeah, I got them. I put them on. The sizing was pretty much dead on. 18. I mean, they're 17 by 8.5, 40 fronts, and 17 by 7.5, 30 rear, and 225 up front and 215s in the back. Suspension wise, I worked with a good buddy of mine, Nick Swan. I actually called him about 510s, Fortune 510s. I had some I wanted to upgrade for spring rates and whatnot. Talked to him, went back and forth, and I got lucky enough to join the program and get a set of Fortune Auto 520s. They're new club racers that are.
So you got the 520s on this right
yes,
now. That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
and they're not even released yet. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
Yeah,
either.
they're not released right now. 16K front and 9K rear springs, along with I paired that up with Hone Development, roller center adjusters in the rear.
I think you have it sprung just about perfectly
Just about,
for
yeah.
because I think they recommend like a 2-to-1.
2-to-1, yeah. I talked to a couple guys that tracked, and they recommended some spring rates. I might go up to 18 in the front down the road, but not yet. I'm still trying to get the car figured out and dialed in.
Right, and you got aero too, so
yeah.
you're gonna need a little bit higher spring rate than you would if you were just all mechanical grip or something like that. So
control arm bushing, bearings and stuff. I actually worked with the guys over at True Heart for a while now. I had some friends over there, so I went with their spherical compliance bushings, lower control arms, camber kits, toe arms, rear lower control arms, and the bushings for the front control arms are spherical also, all from True Heart.
So everything's True Heart and all spherical.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Except for the lower control arms, the rear lower control arms are just a bushing. Sway bars, stock ITR rear and stock ITR front. So 21 and I think it's 26 front. And then with it being a Type R, you don't need an ASR brace because the subframe's already stronger. It's already thicker than a regular Integra would be.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about tearing and whatnot.
I actually noticed that too, just following you here.
Yeah.
Because you just have the lower tire bar, but you don't actually have a whole subframe.
Yeah.
brace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a stock 24, K24 out of TSX with pretty much everything hybrid racing makes and offers for K-Swap. AC, power steering, the fuel rail, fuel pressure regulator, coil cover, radiator hoses, pretty much swap mounts, pretty much everything they offer.
Got the whole catalog.
Basically, yeah.
Wait, you said you have AC?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, AC and power steering.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I did a Vibrant Catch can also for blow by.
Are you on pump gas or E85?
It's actually tuned on flex fuel, so it's E85 right now too, yeah.
How much power are you making?
Actually just street tune. Mikey tuned it for me on the street. I just didn't have time to get to a dyno.
Got it.
So we had to just make something work real quick. So it worked out. It runs great, it pulls strong and it runs smooth, so I can't complain.
Because this setup's actually new to you, right? Because before you had the 2.0, right? You
Yeah.
went to the 2.4?
Yeah, so long story short, basically over the winter last year, I redid the whole car completely. So it used to have rubber bushings and everything. So redid all the suspension, did new coilovers, and then went ahead. I said I might as well go for a little bit more power. So went from a 2.0 to a 2.4, and it's a big difference. Intake's just a 3.5-inch intake with a K&N filter, PLM header, and then a 3-inch exhaust with a Vibrant ultra quiet resonator, and no muffler. It's just on the resonator. That's it.
Oh, really? Okay. It's actually not that loud then for not having a muffler.
It's not terrible. Yeah. It was actually a lot louder with the 2-liter. This motor's a little quieter.
I see.
A little deeper tone, I guess. Yeah. RC injectors and Radium fuel filter, and then the hybrid racing fuel pump.
Got it. How big of injectors did you end up going with?
They are 750s.
750s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess one of my favorite things is the hybrid throttle body. I don't have never had any problems with that. No sticking or anything like that. Smooth every time. So
I know that's like the TPS is something that always goes out on K-Series,
yeah, it's a
right?
big issue. Yeah, I'm actually using a Acuity TPS, which works awesome also. Yeah. Yeah. So trans is a A2 trans. With I switched over to a CAS. I used to have a Quaife. I switched over to a CAS LSD, and that's a big difference, huge difference going to a Clutch LSD, and then refreshed it all with Synchrotech carbon synchros and OEM bearings and all that. So everything's pretty much brand new in there.
Stock final drive on it?
533 final drive.
533.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
After talking to a couple buddies at track and whatnot, the final drive made it up with the 17s. It kind of just works really well together with it. Yeah.
Okay. Clutch, flywheel, things like that?
Competition clutch and flywheel.
Okay.
6 puck. I think it's a stage 3. Yeah. Seats. I went with the Sparkle Circuit driver seat and then Pro 2000 passenger seat. G-force harnesses, both driver and passenger side. 5-point passenger, 6-point driver, and then PCI seat rails over here.
How do you like the seat?
The seat's actually is nice and comfortable. It holds you in really well. It was a little high with the cushion for me, so I actually removed the cushion and did closed cell foam bottom. So there's actually no cushion, so I could sit a little lower in the seat.
Okay.
Yeah, because before I was like way up, and I'm not even a tall guy, so I don't even know how taller people would work. So
was your helmet hitting like?
It wasn't
the
hitting.
roof?
I just didn't like the seating position, how I was at. I felt super tall in it, you know.
Got it.
And then steering wheel, went ahead and matched it up with the Sparkle suede steering wheel. Checker Sports hub, Energy quick release. Shifter, of course, hybrid racing shifter. Then wideband, oil pressure gauge, just keep an eye on things on the track. The roll bar was built by Toppy over at Prime Motorsports. One of my good buddies did an awesome job with it.
Are they local here?
He's actually based out of Tennessee, out of Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, random JDM bits, you know, airbag tray stuff that's kind of hard to find anymore nowadays. And then, you know, carbon fiber stuff, which is stock for ITRs.
Well, what engine management for the?
Honda K-Pro V4.
K-Pro.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
It makes the flex feel easy.
How long have you been tracking cars?
I've been tracking for about 4 years now, on and off.
4 years.
Maybe 5, yeah, around that time. Yeah.
So you got a couple years under your belt.
Yeah,
then, right?
yeah.
What was your first racetrack that you drove on?
My first event was actually Putnam Motorsports Park. I did SCCA Nights in America, track nights in America. So you get, I think it's like 2 hours. Is it 2 hours? It's something like that. It's like 3 sessions or something like that.
It's like really cheap too, right?
It's like $100.
Yeah.
So it was like a no-brainer. So that's how I got started.
Describe what your first track day was like. So leading up to it, during it, after it.
Of course, you're always, you know, worried the car's gonna break or something's gonna go wrong, you know. But you could only prepare so much. Like everyone told me, you know, just brakes, fluid, and just go and have fun is what it comes down to. So, yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was fun once you got out there, had a little fun, you know, and kind of just learn, just be open to learning.
Right. I think that's a big thing, is being open to learning and not going there with any expectations like you're going to be the fastest driver out there.
Yeah, you're never going to be, and you're never going to push your car harder than what it could handle, you know, being out there for the first time.
Yeah, the moment you find out you're not a good driver, it can just tear you down, right?
You're just like, oh man, this wasn't what it looked like or what you thought it was. But it's cool though, you know, you just got to do it, really is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think that's also another good point, is just a lot of people kind of get caught up in the build, right? Car sits on jack stands for years and like, oh, I'm gonna get out there one day, and then they don't. And it's just, I think the big thing is just go out there and drive. Yeah,
and a lot of people seem to think they have to have their car ready. You know, they have to have this, they have to have that, and you really don't. You know, I really did start with the super simple car. Given it was K-swap, it was a lot more power than I could handle. But I mean, you just kind of work with it and learn and go from there. You know, the car really didn't just get like this overnight. It actually took,
of course,
years and years and years of progression. So, you know, I just started adding stuff as I moved on.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's looking to track their own car?
You know, I guess prepare it, you know, get things ready and just go have fun. Just go have fun, take some buddies with you, and you guys go out, all have fun together. Because the way the community is, if you get out there and you kind of don't know what you're doing, there's always going to be someone there to help you, you know. There's always someone there that's willing to give you a hand or advice or whatnot and push you along the way.
Yeah, the community is like, it seems intimidating at first, because you're the new guy, you don't know anything about tracking your car, but everyone there is so ready to help. it was easy to find out that like everyone is just there to help you, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is weird being out there and not knowing anyone, but you start to meet people quick. Yeah, you start to learn quick.
Outside of just your normal track day, have you ever gotten into any type of competition driving, like competing in autocross, competing in time attack or anything like that?
I have not, no, I've thought about it, but what it comes down to is, you know, time and money. So with owning a business and stuff, it's hard to find a lot of time and, you know, family and whatnot. And it's just, I never got there. Maybe one day we'll go have some fun, but right now I'm just trying to get to the track and have some fun and roll with some friends, man.
Right, right. What's one favorite thing about your car? Whether is it a certain part? Is there a particular story about it that makes it special?
This car, there's so much history with this car. It came a very long way, and I know Type R's are becoming rare and expensive and all that, and people are like, oh shit, you track a Type R or whatever. But this car was actually it was stolen, and it has a very, very long history. So if you pull up the Carfax, it's a big list. So it actually it's been stolen a couple of times. It was stripped. People brought it back to life. Someone got in an accident with it and whatnot. So it came a long way from what it was. It could have been in a scrapyard somewhere by now.
Right, right.
You know,
it's like, what Type R hasn't been stolen? Right?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy
at this point.
One thing I really enjoy is I try to keep the car fairly streetable if I can too. So we actually drive it around. We actually go cruising. We go to dinner. I mean, we've driven it 3-4 hours on trips to go to meets and stuff like that. Also,
yeah. So you're still able to enjoy it outside of going to the track.
Yeah, and that's why I kept AC and power steering in it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For the hot days and whatnot.
That makes sense now. Outside of cars and tracking cars, anything related to cars, do you have any other interests or hobbies outside of?
Boating. We do a lot of boating now.
A lot of boating.
Yeah, in the summertime. So yeah, you'll find us on the lake all summer pretty much, and then in the wintertime we snowboard. So we snowboard all through the winter here in Indiana, and then we do big trips out to Colorado and get on some mountains and whatnot.
Yeah, Colorado's a trip that I'd like to do in the winter time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you can't beat the scenery. It's beautiful.
Cool, man.
It is beautiful.
Awesome. If anyone wants to see the car, or maybe DM you, ask you questions or anything like that, where can they reach you?
My Instagram's DEEE Dang, and then I have another one that I just post cars and random stuff on, is Dang's Polished Garage.
Okay. Do you have any shout outs, anything like that you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to of course all my friends and stuff for the support and help throughout the years getting the car where it is today. My wife for putting up with all those late nights and long weekends and all that, and then all the help and sponsors, Hybrid Racing, Papaya Motorsports, Toppy down at Nashville. Thanks a lot for everything you do for me. Fortune Auto for helping me with the suspension. Falken, tires for helping me out with the 660s, awesome tire. Breaknetic out of California. He's been helping me out with rotors throughout the years, because you go through those quite a bit.
Yeah.
With braking, and DR Concepts out in California too. They do a lot of fab work and super awesome dudes. Premium Garage Crew and the Wrecking Crew. Those guys are a big part of my car family, and we're always helping each other out too, and all that.
Well, that just about does it for this TCR. Thanks, Danny, for joining me out here and showing me your car, kind of giving us a little insight on your driving experience. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to stay up to date with the progress of my car, or also see really, really cool track cars like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to, go ahead and share the video. That'll really help the channel out. Until next time, stay safe, stay smooth, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace.